Welcome back, Packer Nation, to another video. 2 days ago, I posted a poll on the community tab to vote on the Packers possibly making a trade for tight end David Njoku from the Cleveland Browns. So far, there are 58 votes and a pretty good balance of yes and no. After this video, you can go right ahead to the community tab and cast in your vote if you already haven't done so. Now I'd like to quickly run through the case for and against in making the trade for David Njoku. Let's start with making the case for the trade. These 4 bullet points highlight some pretty good reasons as to why this trade should be done. The first and obvious reason is that David Njoku is another weapon to catch passes for our quarterback Aaron Rodgers, who right now is currently lacking in weapons as the media says so, and I think I would have to say that a lot of Packer fans would agree with that notion, and I would also agree with that notion is that this team is lacking weapons for Aaron Rodgers, but there are some newcomers that are ready to step up, as well as some players that we do have that are developmental guys that could potentially step up and be able to do some things in order to get the passing game going and help our franchise quarterback win games. The second bullet point would highlight that is that he could play in the H-back role. I don't know what his experience is there. He may have played some H-back, some there in the H-back in Cleveland. I don't know that for sure. Due to his size and strength, that Matt LaFleur would like to plug him back there as he did for Jay Sternberger. The third thing is that he won't cost too much. He's at the very back end of his rookie deal at age 24 in 2020. So when you look here at the numbers here on what he's getting paid, he had a 4-year deal worth up to $9,525,000 and some change. And all this was actually a fully guaranteed contract, as it turns out. So for this season, he's going to reach a cap hit of $3,030 and $714. But if you look for the 2021 season, which is David's 5th-year option that the Browns exercised back in April, and they signed him to a $6 million of a base salary, so that will be kind of a little bit costly in the second year with the Packers, is this big cap hit. If he can play well, very well be a payoff. Now going over back to the fourth and last bullet point of making the case for trading for David is that he will be a better player with a better quarterback. And I just think that having David come over with a more of an established veteran quarterback, savvy, smart, and I know that he's been able to do some things pretty well with Baker. And before then, he had Deshaun Kaiser. Things did not work out so well there for Deshaun in Cleveland before coming over to the Packers. And I feel like that with a better quarterback, I think his talents could be maximized even with an aging quarterback such as Aaron. But he will be in a better environment with a better quarterback. There is definitely a lot of potential and a lot of untapped potential with David potentially coming to the Green Bay Packers and being able to play a crucial role in the tight end core with the Green Bay Packers, possibly having some double tight end sets and unfortunately sharing some catches with Jay Sternberger, who is penciled in currently as our number 1 tight end. And now for the case against the Packers making a trade for Njoku is that this first reason is really kind of minor, at least it's minor in my opinion, is that he has missed some time due to injury. And this is all based mostly off of last season, where he spent the majority of his time on injured reserve last season with a broken wrist. He was not seen again after the broken wrist, and before that he dealt with a concussion. That's quite commonplace in today's NFL with diagnosed concussions, and once you are diagnosed with a concussion, you're out of the game. And he has also dealt with a few other small injuries here and there, like some knee injuries. It all happens. It's all part of the game. Injuries are very much a part of the game, and that's how it is. So there may possibly be some concern right there, a small concern with his ability to stay on the field due to some injuries here and there. And the second point is that he wasn't a big impact player, and I pardon the H in there and hasn't. It was supposed to be a W for wasn't. So during his time for the Cleveland Browns, last year was certainly the case where he only, in limited action, he just didn't really play all that well. Whereas in his second season, he played pretty well. He had over 600 yards, 4 touchdowns. That is definitely, or they are not great numbers, but they are solid numbers. But there will be some bouts of inconsistency here and there in some cases where I saw a couple of games where he would have very minimal impact in a game, which there might be some games where he only caught 2 passes for 20 yards or something along those lines. I think at this point that David Njoku would kind of play, might be able to be maximized more in, not as an established number 1 tight end, but maybe sharing a role with another tight end, which is case he probably might be able to share a role very well with Jay Sternberger. And by virtue that he wasn't a big impact player, I mean, I think maybe it's possible that the money, especially in his second year, would be better served for Green Bay to use later. That was a little point that I brought up in the poll, was that maybe he isn't that good and the money can be better served in a different area. And the third and last point that I touched upon in the poll was that there are already a lot of tight ends on the roster. I mean, for goodness sakes, we already have 6 tight ends on the roster. We have Evan Bayless, DeGuara, Mercedes, Big Dog. We got Jay Sternberger, our number 1 tight end. A fan favorite, Bobby Tonyan, then we got James Looney, the converted defensive end. So there's already plenty of competition at the tight end position. I feel like it's very highly unlikely that the Packers would make a trade for Njoku at this juncture, since I feel like that these 6 guys that are on the roster right now will probably suffice. Just don't think that this is going to be the right move for the organization in making a trade and giving up a draft pick for David Njoku, whether that is going to be a 4th or a 5th round pick. I just don't see this being a move for the Packers. However, the idea of bringing David, a young, promising tight end who is 23 years of age, is really, really a nice thought. So I believe that the Packers shouldn't trade for David just because of because of the reasons against, even though there are a lot of pros for sure. So that will do it for this video. I'll catch you guys later. Go Pack Go!